Elias Voss first glimpsed the future at 3:07 a.m. on the night his daughter drowned. He didn't see the accident itself, the bathtub overflowing while he scrolled through work emails downstairs, but he felt it, a vice around his lungs, static in his teeth, the taste of copper. When he burst into the bathroom, the water was still draining, tiny rubber ducks circling the plug hole like satellites. 2-year-old Amelia floated face up, eyes open and milky. The paramedic called it a parental sixth sense. The grief counselor said trauma rewires the brain. They were wrong. 3 days after the funeral, Elias watched a man die twice. At the coffee shop counter, the barista, Liam according to his name tag, reached for a mismatched lid. Flash. Liam choking, clawing at his throat, a peanut butter scone crumbling in his fist. Flash. A different scene. Liam collapsing mid-step, skull cracking on the espresso machine's steel corner. "Try the almond croissant," Elias blurted, finger jabbing the pastry case. His knuckle left a smudge on the glass. Less crumbly. The barista paused, shrugged, and grabbed the croissant. Elias didn't stay to watch him not die. By month's end, he'd prevented 14 deaths. A construction worker avoiding a snapped crane cable, a jogger rerouting from a swerving truck. Each intervention came with sharper visions, not just deaths, but branches. The barista's alternate choking death now played nightly behind Elias's eyelids, louder each time. But the cracks began showing. At the grocery store, he watched Mrs. Kellerman, a widow who always gave Amelia free lollipops, grab a jar of honey. Flash. Her slipping on a spilled smoothie, neck snapping against the freezer aisle's edge. Flash. A car crash 3 days later. Brake failure at a stoplight. Elias accidentally knocked the honey from the car. She scowled and left. That night, he woke to whispers in the walls. 6 broken ribs, steering column through the lungs. Much slower, Elias. He found his wife Jessica staring at him over breakfast. "You're not sleeping again." "I'm trying," he snapped, coffee sloshing. Her flinch mirrored Amelia's when he'd raised his voice. Then came the fire. Flash. St. Mary's Hospital Pediatric Ward, 11:43 p.m., a faulty ventilator spark. Flames eating oxygen lines, smoke swallowing cribs. Flash. A different ignition point. The oncology wing, 3:16 a.m., cigarette in a janitor's break room. Elias called both warnings anonymously. They evacuated the entire hospital. The fire started in the morgue at 2:07 a.m. A short-circuited autopsy saw no one predicted. 23 dead. The first specter appeared that night, a toddler with melted skin, crawling up his bedroom wall. "Daddy didn't save us," it gurgled. Jessica woke to Elias screaming at an empty corner. "It's grief," she pleaded, gripping his shoulders. "Let me call Dr. Shaw." He recoiled. Flash. Jessica's face, years older, hollow-eyed, swallowing pills in a motel bathroom. "You left us," her future self mouthed. Elias fled to the garage. The vision swarmed now, a hornet's nest of deaths. He scribbled warnings on receipts, napkins, his own arms. "Tell Jenkins avoid I-90. On October 14th, cancel flight 227 to Denver. Don't let Marco take the bus." But the whispers grew louder. "You're cheating." The voice came from the passenger seat. Elias turned. The thing wearing Liam's face smiled, neck bent at a liquid angle. "Death isn't a buffet," it said. "You don't get to choose entrees." The thing's fingers were cold as it pressed them to Elias's temple. Flash. Mrs. Ruiz, the barista's neighbor, clawing at her throat in a darkened kitchen. Stage 4, throat cancer, a stolen kid, flash, a construction worker's daughter, now orphaned, stepping into traffic years later. Balance, the thing hissed. One life for one life, always. Elias vomited on the garage floor. I didn't know. You didn't ask. The thing's jaw unhinged, revealing a black void where Liam's tongue should be. But we'll bargain now, it offered Amelia, not the bloated corpse from the tub, but a girl of 8, alive, laughing, building sandcastles on a beach he didn't recognize. The vision stank of brine and rotting kelp. She's not real, Elias whispered. She could be. The thing pressed a scalpel into his palm. Jessica's sleeping pill prescription gets refilled tomorrow. That night, Elias stood over his wife's sleeping form. The blade trembled. Flash, Jessica's death. Quick, painless, a single red ribbon down her wrist. Flash, Amelia alive, age 16, sobbing at her mother's funeral. Flash, the hospital fire victims crawling from graves, charred hands pulling Jessica into soil. The scalpel clattered to the floor. Pathetic, the thing sighed, materializing in the bedroom mirror. Fine, let's play roulette. It snapped its fingers. Elias's skull erupted with visions, a tsunami of possible tomorrows. A plane exploding at 30,000 feet. He could warn the FAA. A school shooter's manifesto posted online. He could hack the account. A newborn smothered by a sleep-deprived mother. He could call CPS. But each prevention birthed worse futures. The plane's passengers saved became pandemic superspreaders. The shooter, arrested, radicalized cellmates into a cult. The grieving mother, investigated, jumped from a bridge. Her body washed ashore where Amelia's sandcastle once stood. Stop, Elias begged, clawing at his eyes. The thing laughed. You wanted to be a god. This is divinity, knowing everything and being powerless. It offered one last deal. Your sight for her life. Permanently. Elias hesitated. Flash. Amelia's first day of school, a birthday party, a graduation, all the moments he'd mourned. Yes, he choked. The thing's fingers plunged into his eye sockets. When Elias woke, Jessica was shaking him. Sunlight streamed through the curtains. You slept through your alarm, she said. He blinked. No visions, no whispers. Then he noticed the house smelled of salt water. In the bathroom, the tub was full again. Amelia's laughter echoed from downstairs. Daddy, come see my castle. The sand was wet and speckled with seaweed.